right, second last video of Unit 1. So now what we're going to do is look at reaction mechanisms that are missing steps. So they will give you the overall reaction, they'll give you multiple steps or maybe only one step that is happening, and then you'll have to identify what the missing step would be. So the key thing is identifying that all reactants and products are covered. So I like to circle them. And if there's any missing, I place them in my missing step, and then everything else should cancel out, and they will either be reaction intermediates or catalysts. So the following reaction is a 3-step mechanism. Find step 3 and state any reaction intermediates or catalysts. So this is my overall reaction. In my overall reaction, I need 2 A4 pluses. There's 1, there's 2. I'm good. I also need a B plus as a reactant. This is missing a B plus, so I'm going to add it into my missing step. Then I move on to my products. I need 2 A3 pluses. There's 1, there's 2, and then I need a B3 plus, which is missing in my product side, so I'm going to put it into my missing step. Then everything else has to cancel out. So the C3 plus already cancels out, but I've got this C2 plus is a reactant that's missing in the products, so I'm going to add it in. And then I've got this C4 plus that's in my products, so I need to add it as a reactant so that it cancels out. And so then this would be my missing step. And then I want to identify, were there any reaction intermediates? Were there any catalysts? So remember, reaction intermediate is something that's produced and then later consumed. So my C3 plus was a product first and then a reactant. So C3 plus will be a reaction intermediate. C2 plus is introduced as a reactant and then leaves at the end as a product. So it must be a catalyst, right? So it goes as a reactant and leaves as a product. And then my last one is my C4 plus. So my C4 plus is produced in one step and consumed in a later step. So it is also a reaction intermediate. So this reaction had 2 reaction intermediates and 1 catalyst, and I wrote my missing step. All right, if you're feeling good about this, pause the video and give this one a go. So this one I've just written differently. Instead of putting the overall reaction on the bottom, I've put the overall reaction at the top. And we are going to find step 2, and we are going to state any reaction intermediates or catalysts. So let's go for it. I need 1 Cl2. I've got 1 Cl2. I need a CHCl3. I am missing that on my reactant side, so I'm going to include it. Then on my product side, I need a hydrochloric acid, so I'm going to add it in because there isn't one already, and I need a CCl4 included. Then everything else has to cancel out. So I've got this Cl being produced and then consumed in step 3, but I've got this one in step 1 that isn't consumed, and so I need to add it into step 2. Then lastly, this CCl3 is on the left-hand side, and I need it to appear on the right-hand side and cancel out, so I'm going to put it on the right-hand side of step number 2. So this would be my missing step. Cl plus CH3Cl3 goes to HCl plus CCl3. And my reaction intermediates, again, anything that is produced and later consumed. I've got a Cl and another Cl that are produced and then consumed. So I don't even need to state the 2 though. When they're asking you for the reaction intermediates, it doesn't matter how many there are, that you just identify the species. So there is Cl as a reaction intermediate. And then as well, we've got this carbon, is it just carbon chloride? I think it's just carbon chloride. We've got this carbon chloride that is produced in step 2 and then consumed in step 3. And then are there any catalysts? Well, I've canceled out the chlorides. I've canceled out the carbon chloride. I shouldn't cancel out my step 2. And there is nothing that was introduced as a reactant and then later leaves as a product. And so there are no catalysts. Awesome. Okay, last one for practice. Consider the following overall reaction, which is exothermic. Complete the proposed 2-step mechanism. So we're just missing the second step. So as a reactant, I need 2 NOs, 1, 2, and I also need an oxygen, which is missing. In my product, I need 2 NO2s. And so I've got it now, but I need to get rid of this N2O2, so I'm going to add it on the left-hand side. So my missing step would be N2O2 plus O2 goes to 2 NO2s. My reaction intermediate would be that N2O2 that's produced in step 1 and consumed in step 2, and there wouldn't be any catalyst. All right, have fun.